Hello, welcome back to Super Buddies Forever. Part 3 of our beach house, Hannah Montana conversion to a Monster High house. Made lots of decisions, got all the priming done. This is the point where it gets very exciting for me personally because I have an absolute blank canvas here. One big decision I've made is I'm going to stop calling it the beach house now, call it a cottage. Because everything that I'm styling and deciding is really a mismatched cottage feel. That's the look I want to go for. I've never mentioned with the primer, this is it, I've mentioned the primer. I've never said this obviously sticks to all surfaces without sanding. You want to be very, and dries in 1 hour, that's a bonus. You want to be absolutely protective. Take your jewelry off, protect your floor, protect your surroundings, because if it gets on anything, it is not coming off easy. Found an orange paint to use for the kitchen. I've 100% decided to do that orange. I'm going to go with the kitchen appliances that came with this set and leave them as is. When I ordered it, by the way, I got this for $35. I don't think I've ever mentioned that. It came with some pieces of the furniture, and to make more room, because it all backs up in here, and I can have more table space for Grace to play, I'm going to use that stuff instead. And then I'm going to give her the stuff, the Barbie stuff, because she's building her own cardboard houses starting this week. And what else do we got to mention here? We got out our paint, the cream for the ceilings up here. Another new decision. And gotta love that price, right? Oops Paint, always check those out. And I've decided to do this part cream. And now with that cottage look with this thing, do the color I planned and then a lighter version, a pastel. So we'll get everything and then a contrasting color here. As well, this was going to be the bathroom and this was going to be the bedroom. I've decided differently by what things fit. With this being the bathtub I have, bathtub shower, different from all the rest of the bathrooms we've done. If I take this off, I can fit that really nicely in there and then make it more of a dressing room and still fit the stairs over here. As well, I've decided 100% this is going to go with the Boo Students. So this is going to be a bedroom for Kjersti, Isi, and I forgot the last one, Batsy. And instead of 2 bunk beds, I'm going to do one here. And then in the front, I have these leftovers to decide on. Seeing as it's a cottage, we can have a blow-up mattress. And it is smaller. It's skipper size. So that will fit Kjersti. Or what came with my Beverly Hills set, which you've seen some purple pieces. This used to be Halloween's bed before we got that piece of the bunk bed Monster High. So I think this one or that mattress will definitely have fun with the cottage look. I've been wanting to paint that one. This comes in 3 parts. There's what I did, siliconed it and did that. And that leaves me only to finish, here's another leftover from that set, is to work on caulking the little spots before I can start painting the color. I'm going to concentrate on the outside so that in the next part we can finally seal this together. I have to get all the painting done before I can permanently attach all these floors, and the floors begin afterwards. Not worrying about perfection over here. I'll probably hit some of that there, and that's okay because the floors, then do the floors and then touch up after. So as for caulking, just got to do these little holes here. Yeah, I just got to finish filling these, which those stickers used to cover, and get those drying. Here's my caulking. It's as simple as that. And that will dry clear, doesn't matter, but we'll just fill all those up. They might sink, I might have to do a second coat, but once this is done, this roof can be painted. Inside the house there's a few spots where I don't like where things meet, so I am going to caulk those too just to make them look not so toyish and more old and painted many times for many years like an old cottage looks. See y'all in the next segment.
Bye. We're back, everybody.
one of
This is
those
the
areas
next segment.
I was talking about. I don't like that one. See how that one looks melded and that one does not on this side more, and I don't want that look. Here, let me move it over here. It looks like it's got a gap where it was put together, so I'm gonna highlight that or fix that. And any of these little holes here, I'll fix those too. And it's as simple as
Horrible angle, but
running a bead
let's
of
see what she did there.
caulk in there. My handy dandy little tissue I've told you about. And then I'm just gonna run my finger down that. If it's full, I'll just take advantage of that and use it in another spot. And then go up just to smooth it out real nice, make it meld. And that is that. That's the same technique I'll use on these things here when I do glue it all together and attach together so it's permanent. I will hide those hinges, make it look more part of it after everything is done. So I can take advantage of picking these up and painting in here very, very well. I've begun the painting. And this is a fun part. Well, what I've learned is this paint, which is a little more expensive, is not all that great. It is very thin. It's going to need 2, if not 3 coats. But as a little bit of lesson here, being very particular to keep my strokes, even when I did the primer, keep my strokes going in the way you want it to look like it was done. If you go like this, especially with the primer, those marks will show through and your end product is going to look much better if you keep all of your strokes the right way. If you can see those, they all go down, except for right in there, but then I covered that. So I want that look to happen. Another tidbit is, it seems, you know, this is going to be my color on the slats, and up here, black is actually a hard color to cover white with. It will take many coats. So I am using this as a base coat to cover up that white, and then it will make me probably only need 1 coat of the real house paint to cover that. I also did that with all the trim in the big house. Just painting up some details around the windows right now. Well, I'm actually doing a whole lot of everything. And you get the idea of how easy that is. This will need 2 coats, no doubt. And I will work on that later. For now, I'll finish all that later. Up here, I put a second coat on it of just basic craft black paint to give it the coverage, and then I'll hit it with the expensive quart paint. The first one was an oops, but then I did have to buy a second quart, so I'll use the least amount of this. I use that technique for all the trim in the big house. I can also start to see where I needed refills and where they've sunk. That one doesn't matter so much because later I will find not this color, but a black trim that I'll tack in there to give that some architectural texture. I'll keep my charcoal up here and I'll leave the black under here for roof railing or whatever that's called. I don't know what that's called, roof trim. And I also have these 2 colors, which I'll introduce as different shades into some of these. I haven't decided exactly where yet, but it's really starting to have a very Cape Cod look, which I'm enjoying. I snip these things off down to the clippers and put some caulking over that to hide those. In here you can see I have lots of colors going in different areas and different positions to show you where I'm at. Just got that trimmed in. I've left that there white because this has a side trim and this does not, and I just thought that made it more balanced. You can see it's definitely looking very different. This orange, I'm glad I made that decision to change that up. Gorgeous. I would say out of all the different paints I'm using, this is without a doubt the best one. All the different shades and sheens are working out well. Up here, this is where it applies, where I said you get to know your piece and where you can start and stop lines. I've used my ceiling color up on both. I've hit those And I know that I can come here with a nice clean line, and I can come here with a nice clean line. I got the 2 colors that will go into that. That's looking very cheerful. A little tidbit, I always cover my paints when I'm done and not going to use them for a while with tape, painter's tape, and it keeps the air out and they last a long time. There's only about this much in there and it's still very nice and fresh and wet. Over here, and in this room, about getting to know your piece, I've done my ceiling paint again, the cream. I've gone on there, no worries. Here I've got a darker one and there's going to be a light up here, so I was far more careful not to hit this dark onto that because that's going to be loads of coats to cover. While I'm thinking about it, let me give a shout out to, first on the last video was Alex AG, and thank you for the little video you did and gave us a shout out along with Goodie Parade and my froggy stuff. And here is what I mean about trimming when you use that technique. So I had that messy line, and now I'm just going to put a nice neat line to cover it up. And that really saves a lot of trouble on your work. If you notice, it's going on very thick at the top. So when you come around for your second coat, this is from house painting, same thing. You do it, get that press up there. And then when you do your second coat, you just go about 1/4 of an inch lower and you don't have to worry about being so particular because your line was made the first time. I hope these tips have helped. This video is getting lengthy and I don't want to rush finishing this, so I'm going to end it now and start the next part with this complete. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Let us know how you feel about this series, because if you don't like it, we won't do this long form again. Thank you.